You've heard the stories, right? The ones about the full moon, how it brings out a little bit of chaos, how things get weird. It's a belief that's been around forever, woven into everything from ghost stories to late-night news. But is any of it actually true? Let's find out. So that really is the big question here. Does the moon have some kind of real, measurable power over us? Or is this whole thing just one of the oldest, most stubborn myths in human history?
To really get why this idea has such a powerful grip on us, we have to go way back. This isn't some new fad, this is an ancient belief with roots that go super, super deep. What's so wild is seeing how this idea has shape-shifted over time. In ancient times, the moon was seen as this almost godlike thing that controlled your fate. Fast forward to the Roman era, and the connection is so baked in that the word lunatic comes right from luna, the Latin for moon. And it didn't stop there. Through the Middle Ages, healers and astrologers kept it going, and today, it's all over our movies, our news, our social media feeds. The idea just refuses to fade away.
And that's the key, isn't it? Just because a lot of people have believed something for a long time doesn't make it true. So if the moon isn't really to blame, then what is? Well, the answer seems to be a lot closer to home. It's inside our own heads.
So let's talk about the psychology behind all this. It turns out our brains are kind of like pattern-seeking machines. We are hardwired to make connections and see patterns, even when they aren't actually there.
Okay, first up, we have a real classic, confirmation bias. Think about it like this. If you already believe a full moon makes for a crazy night, you're going to be on high alert for anything that proves you right. That weird call you got at 2 a.m., the dog barking next door, you'll remember that. What you'll totally forget are the 23 other hours when everything was completely, totally normal. Your brain cherry-picks the evidence to fit the story it already wants to believe.
And that plays perfectly into our next concept, illusory correlation. This is just our brain's habit of drawing a line between two things that have nothing to do with each other. You have one event over here, a full moon, and you have another event over there, a chaotic shift at work. Your brain connects those two dots and creates a simple, satisfying rule. Full moon equals chaos. It's a shortcut our minds use to make a random world feel a little less random.
And really, this quote just nails it. It's not the moon itself that's changing things. It's our belief in the moon, our expectation that things are going to get weird, that actually makes the night feel different.
Okay, so we've looked at the history and the psychology, but what happens when we push all that aside and just look at the cold, hard data? Let's dig into the science.
And let me tell you, researchers have looked at everything. We're talking mountains of data from all over. They've sifted through hospital admissions, psychiatric ER visits, crime statistics, birth rates, car accidents, even data from sleep monitoring studies. They've been hunting for any little spike, any signal at all that lines up with a full moon.
And after all that digging, this is what they found. I mean, just look at those bars. Whether it's a night with a full moon or any other random night of the month, the number of incidents, crimes, accidents, you name it, is pretty much identical. There is no spike, no surge. It's just a normal night.
So the scientific verdict is just overwhelmingly clear and direct. Yeah, you might find a couple of small, random studies that hint at a tiny connection, but they've never been successfully repeated. When you look at all the credible research together, the so-called lunar effect completely disappears.
But wait, I know what you're probably thinking right now. Okay, fine, but what about the tides? The moon is strong enough to move entire oceans, and our bodies are mostly water, so, right? It's the most common argument you'll hear, and honestly, it sounds pretty convincing on the surface. So let's break it down. So here's the crucial difference. The moon's gravity can create tides because it's pulling on one enormous unified body of water, the ocean. But the water in your body, it's not one big sloshing bucket. It's divided into trillions of tiny separate cells. The physics just doesn't work the same way on that small a scale. The pull is simply too weak.
This quote just puts it all into perspective perfectly. The actual pull of the moon's gravity on your body is weaker than the gravitational pull from a mosquito landing on your arm. So unless you're blaming mosquitoes for your bad moods, the moon's gravity argument just doesn't hold up.
Now, to be 100% fair, science has found one tiny little indirect way the moon might affect us. But it has absolutely nothing to do with gravity or weird energies.
It's simply about light. A full moon is basically a big natural nightlight. So way back in the day, before we had cities and electricity, that extra brightness might have been enough to mess with people's sleep a little bit. But today, for most of us living with streetlights and phone screens and TVs, the moon's gentle glow gets totally drowned out.
its effect on our sleep is basically zero.
So, let's pull all these threads together. We've looked at the ancient history, the sneaky tricks our brains play on us, and the hard scientific data. And every path seems to lead away from the sky and points right back at ourselves.
So to finally answer that question we started with as plainly as possible, from a scientific standpoint, the answer is no. The full moon does not affect human behavior. The legend, as cool as it is just a story.
And maybe that's the real magic here. The most powerful, mysterious force isn't the moon's pull. It's the pull of our own minds. Our incredible, and sometimes incredibly flawed need to find patterns and tell stories to make sense of the world. The real mystery wasn't up in the sky all along. It's in here, with us.